Next, we're going to move to a speaker from Switzerland, Jean-Sebastian Reynard, and he is a junior scientist and grape virologist at Agroscope, which is the Center of Excellence for Agricultural Research in Switzerland, and it's affiliated with the Federal Office for Agriculture. He's published journal articles on various grape viruses, including a recent paper documenting the presence of red blotch-associated virus in a field-grown grapevine in Switzerland and its effects on physiology and fruit composition. And this was the first report of the disease and virus occurrence in Europe. And we really appreciate you staying up late this evening to be with us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Are you seeing my presentation?
Perfect.
Okay, good. First of all, I want to thank the organizer, Frank and Sudi, for giving me the opportunity to present my work. I'm Jean-Sebastian. I'm based in Switzerland at Agroscope, and I'm working there as a grapevine biologist. Maybe as a quick introduction, I'm not going to talk about red blotch at all, and not about Swiss chocolate as well, but I just wanted to point out that in Switzerland we do have viticulture, so we are not producing only delicious chocolate, but excellent premium wines as well. Here, as a proof, I can just show you some picture of a Swiss vineyard. Here, for instance, you have the Lavaux vineyard as a UNESCO World Heritage Site at the edge of the lake, of Geneva Lake. Further up, the biggest vineyard in Switzerland is the valley in the middle of the Alps. Here we are. Switzerland is located in the middle of Europe, surrounded by Germany, Italy, France, and Austria, and we are based here at Nyon, like 20 kilometers away from Geneva. Let's talk about red blotch and let's say the Swiss red blotch story. It has been initiated by the work of the Swiss virologist Dr. Paul Guggerli. He has worked intensively on leaf roll disease since the 80s. And in this context, he exchanged materials or leaf roll infected with different scientists around the world in North America, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and around Europe. And in this context, one accession of Zinfandel, at that time it was believed to be infected by leaf roll disease based on symptoms only, and it was imported from the US in the 80s in Switzerland. Here you have some example of a picture of this accession that was taken 2 years ago. This Zinfandel infected with red blotch. At that time, in the 80s, Dr. Guggerli graph inoculated this accession onto our leaf roll indicator. In this case, we use Gamay, and the accession was introduced in our viral collection. Here you have an example of this picture. And then after that, he tried to characterize what he found to be a leaf roll agent. And usually here you have an example of leaf roll on Gamay, so very typical. And in such situation, usually you are able to spot with microscope typical leaf roll viral particles. That's this shape. But in this case, it was never succeeded to purify and to observe any particle. And the reason why came out later in 2012 when the red blotch virus was described, and then we test this Zinfandel, and it was indeed and actually infected with red blotch. Just to give you some example of red blotch in our condition in Europe, the symptoms, that's on the Gamay, and just to be sure, as already Mark mentioned, multi-infection are very common in grape wine, so we just deep sequence this accession, and let's say the major viral disease are not present, so no leaf roll viruses nor niproviruses, that's very just red blotch. And you can see usually in our condition beginning of symptom expression will be in June, July. Here you have some example, and then at harvest here it's very easy to spot. This picture has been taken last year, and last year it was symptom expression was very strong. then I was interested to evaluate the impact of this red blotch on vine performance. For that, I have 6 gamma vines. The one graft inoculated from Zinfandel accession versus the same gamma clones but healthy. This has been planted in 2000 at Agroscope, so the plants are well established, and then we measure different traits on this trial. The first one is photosynthesis. That has been done in 2014 at different time, but here I just presented the result. The first measure we done before the symptom expression, and already there it's possible to see a difference between healthy one and red blotch. Usually you get like 20-25% less photosynthesis rate in the disease plant in our condition. Then we measure the leaf chlorophyll content throughout the season, and here as well in the red blotch infected variant, the leaf chlorophyll content was lower. Here is around 15%. Then we were interested in vigor, pruning root, so that has been done this month on this study, and there is like a difference between 30% less vigor after a red blotch infection. Here, as the last point about impact of red blotch, that has been done on mass composition at harvest. We measure different parameters, and the sugar content in our plot, in our condition, was for 2014 like 10% less bricks. Maybe a good picture to show about impact of red blotch is about delay in fruit ripening. Here, that's exactly in the grape 1 virus collection at Agroscope. So the plant, that's 2 plants. The one on the left is healthy. The one on the right is a red blotch infected. They are cultivated in the same way. Picture has been taken at the same time, and maybe it's just like 10 meters away, and you see the difference is very, very important. Then about vection. As already been mentioned, some studies point to the possible role of leafhopper as a vector for red blotch. So we were interested to verify the ability of leafhopper. We have here in Europe. That's the Scaphodeus titanus. It's a very important leafhopper for European viticulture, not because of virus transmission, but because of phytoplasma. It transmits the flaveston-zoe, which is a very severe disease for grape wine. What we have done is we just go outside in the vineyard, collect some insects, and then put them on red blotch infected plants, just to see if we're able to detect the virus. And this is the case. The virus is detectable on this leafhopper, but then when we put this leafhopper on healthy plants just to try to transmit red blotch, it was not possible to observe any transmission. So of course we'll repeat this this year and maybe try to observe different outcome. Then some words about the Swiss grape wine virus collection. As already mentioned, it's an experimental vineyard. We have more than 650 accession, different clones. All are present in triplicate, so we have 3 plants for every accession from every origin with different set of viral strains. Most of them are coming from Switzerland, but we have some accession coming from different countries around the world, as I written down here. The Zinfandel accession, as I already explained, is present since the IT in our various collection. And then after that, in 2013, we decided to test the entire collection for red blotch, and we were not able to see any natural spread or transmission in our collection. After this monitoring, we identified 4 more accessions infected with red blotch, and all 4 were imported from North America as leaf roll infected material for scientific research, as it has been the case for the Zinfandel accession. Then the question we were interested in was, what about the status of red blotch in commercial vineyards? So for this reason, we just collect and sample some vines. Here I put the details on the map. So nearly 1,000 vines has been sampled here near Italy, in the region of Ticino, south of the Alps, and then the rest has been collected here in the region around the Lake Geneva. All these samples have been tested by PCR, and we were not able to detect any red blotch infection. As a conclusion, red blotch has a serious impact on grape wine physiology and agronomical parameters. And in my experience and in our condition, I would say red blotch is as serious as leaf roll disease, respect to impact. Red blotch has not been observed yet in commercial vineyards in Europe, not that I know, and for sure not in Switzerland. So maybe two hypotheses: or is totally absent, or maybe the incidence rate is very low, and we have to keep going testing to find the first case. As I said, in our grape wine viral collection, all, it means 5 red blotch infected accessions were imported from North America as leaf roll infected material for scientific research. And in our grape wine viral collection, we have not observed any natural spread during these, let's say, 30 years that the Zinfandel, that was the oldest accession imported. Okay, last, I just want to thank my colleague, in particular those of them who were directly involved with this red blotch viruses project, Justine, Nathalie, Larissa, and Miriam. And thanks you all for listening. This is it.
And we thank you for staying up this evening to be with us in this webinar.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know there's a considerable amount of interest in the effect of the disease on fruit quality and consequently on wine quality. And I want to mention that we did invite Dr. Anita Oberholzer, who's been working on that aspect of red blotch, to be on the webinar, and unfortunately she's on vacation in South Africa right now and does not be able to be with us. Okay, thank you very much again.